Maybe this is me self-selecting and picking and pruning my own recollections, but I tend to find that in self-improvement circles, a lot of talk about connections with others tends to be in terms of your connection with them and also within yourself setting your own boundaries in terms of protecting yourself from negative influences and making better choices as to who you hang out with. But I think one thing that doesn't get talked about is how do you accept when someone is actually being good toward you without any seeming want for themselves? Hello and welcome to this episode of the Equal First podcast. My name is Rob, your humble host, and I hope that this show helps you treat yourself like a human being worth caring for, so that you can show up more fully for the important people in your life. I would, of course, very much appreciate it if you give this episode a like and subscribe to the show as a whole so that you get notifications whenever a new episode goes up. It's odd sometimes where your interests can lead you. Now, as I've talked about a bit recently on my other online spaces, I have indulged in my hobby of video games, even to the point of paying a little over $3,000 on a brand new gaming PC. Part of that was to participate more with an online community called the Elite Dangerous Australia and New Zealand Squadron. A bunch of local folks who play the online computer game Elite Dangerous, a starship I was about to say a starship stimulator. A starship simulator. I wonder how you stimulate a starship. That's... Okay, let's not go down that little angle. Anyway, a starship simulator game, which again, if you go check out my YouTube channel, Sci-Fi Sleek, you will find out a lot more about it there. So I won't go into too much detail here. But I am glad that I joined up because as part of the group, I encountered a fellow who goes online by the name of Frair, and he has a Twitch channel called Frair's Forthright Gaming. Don't worry about trying to spell it out, folks. I will put it in the show notes down below, so go check that out. He offered to help me when I started talking about doing live streaming get set up because, as mentioned, he's a streamer and he's also a veteran streamer. He usually streams a few times a week, where I just stick to Tuesday nights. So he knows a lot about setting up and maintaining a stream, getting your Twitch channel all configured correctly, making sure that you have the right hardware and software to get consistent quality streaming, and also how to maintain a Discord channel. And he leapt in very quickly with a ton of advice on how to get things set up. And I owe him big time for getting my own Twitch stream, which is also called Sci-Fi Sleek. Again, there will be a link to it down below if you do want to go check it out. I'd very much appreciate it if you do. And it has been great getting all his input. I have a streaming pass-through. What's the word for this thing? I have been in computer gaming circles. Video capture card. That's what the darn thing is called. I've heard about these things for a couple of decades, but only just bought one for the first time a few months ago. So it passes video from my computer into my other computer where I have the streaming software. I feel like I'm going on a bit of a hardware geeky tangent here, so forgive me for that. What I really wanted to talk about, though, is what it's like. I talk about a lot in this podcast about making sure that your own cup is full so that you can fill from the overflow. And now I've got this guy who is absolutely keen to help me out, and it feels kind of weird because he's not asking for any kind of financial effort. He's just going, hey, look, let's talk about getting your stream right and adjusting your Twitch channel setup and presentation and with doing the Discord configuration. And for a guy who wants to stream well, but also has other things that he's doing, I tend to kind of put Frair's offers of help on the back burner. Which, when I think about it, is kind of a sucky thing. You know, we most of the time talk about him helping me out while I'm already on stream and doing things that I say, yeah, absolutely, Frair. We've got to sort something out, you know. Let's connect up and we'll sort a time out and we'll do some concentrated work on stuff. And I never do it. I always think of it around about streaming time. And I think perhaps some of it comes from this sense of guilt. Like somehow I'm not deserving of his assistance. And perhaps also this little bit of worry that Frair helping me is somehow draining his cup, that he's not pouring from his own overflow, that he is giving more of his time and mental effort than is healthy for him. And that's that sense, that's where I think where it comes from, this sense of being in somebody else's debt, this idea that this person is giving unhealthily and I ought to be giving back, I ought to be paying him somehow for the time he's putting in. Which is no bad thing, you know, there's in this modern society where money is a significant, hell, even a primary part of personal survival. If you don't get paid, you're kind of dead, or you are living in some ways a life where you almost feel like you might as well be good as, where getting back above the bare subsistence level involves you potentially going into even more poverty for a little bit. There are even greater risks to you of getting off assistance than there are to staying on. So I guess, you know, I talked in a previous episode about wanting to be proud of folks as my why. But then it kind of opens up a thing where you need to realize that if you want to be proud of others, you kind of got to accept that other people want to be proud of you too. And that, well, it's worthwhile maintaining a balance and perhaps being mindful of how much other people are putting in, but maybe also respecting their effort by going, you know what, yes, let's work on this, but let's set a time. Let's organise for you and I when we are both going to be focused, when I can absorb and appreciate what you're telling me, and I can give it my full attention. Because I think in the end, perhaps equal with or even greater than money is just that respect of what somebody else is giving you and saying, you know what, I am going to listen to you and I'm going to take it on board. I might not implement all of it. I might not even necessarily remember all of it because I'm only a human being, but I will appreciate. It's sort of a dry word, isn't it? Appreciate, 4 syllables. It's a little bit too, it feels more like an intellectual concept rather than an emotional reality. In the same way, in another episode, I've talked about perhaps where gratitude doesn't feel quite the same as gladness, you know? So, yeah, I think that's something that I need to do, is be a little bit better organised around this gift that Frair is giving me. So, Frair, if you're watching this, thank you very much. Sorry, and if we've not done so already, yes, I'll have to queue up some bloody time. So, for everyone who is watching this, I'm curious to know, I would like to hear back from you, whether that's a direct outreach or if you're watching on YouTube, you pop something in the comments section down below. When have folks offered to help you out? How have you made proper space for them giving you that assistance in your life? And what offer of help could you say yes to in this coming week? So, folks, thank you once again very much for your time. Please give this episode a like, give the channel a subscribe, and share this episode with someone you think you could use it. And I would also love to read about how it's benefited you too. If you like another episode, give us a few seconds more. You'll get a recommendation up when the ending card pops up. Have a good time in the meantime, and also, whether to yourself or to others, be kind.